been cooled down 5 seconds. I mean, what sort of experience is that, you know? I mean, you go to a casino, you press the button, it goes. You press the button, it goes. You press the button, it goes. We also have to enable people to be able to be entertained.
If you are a player, do you play a game with an RTP of 96 or 64? For sure you're going for the 96. And then you are forced, the player, to go on the black market. Because the player will say, hey, that's unfair that I'm playing a game with an RTP of 64. But on the other side, operators can say, we have to pay so much money to even survive on the market. We have to reduce it. So this is a thing where the GGL have to go into it and find a way to protect the operators, which are paying a lot of money, and also protecting them by invent new stuff and to get the operators in the black market out of it.
Simplicity, and when it's really good, will always win. And that's not just for games, right? That's also for platforms, for sports books, for casinos, for bingo, poker.
As long as it's so easy to get as an operator on the black market and offering the products, then why should I need a 5 million euro deposit? After half a year, the companies are already gone because they do not have the money. Then they have to wait to get a license, and then they have to wait another year or 2 years to get the games online. Hey, that's hard.
I think the regulators pricing out smaller competitors because it's commercially not viable to compete in that market.
Yeah.
What do competitors do? They bring innovation, and that's what the good thing is, right? I mean, imagine in a world where there wasn't competitors to certain car brands, right? Every car would look the same, and they would be like, oh yeah, we're doing such a great job. Yeah, because you're the only brand on the market, right? You know, smaller companies bring innovation to the market because they bring something and because they have to think outside the box to stand out.
Especially the operators which are not licensed, that there will be a lot of things coming up in 2026. So I'm happy that they will start now to try to block more and more black market operators. So that would say, be aware of this.
Let's say, imagine you want to launch your own brand in Germany, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be 18 to 24 months before you're even live.
Yes.
The black market, you can be live within 2 days. I mean, I'm not even joking, right? I mean, you just go, within 2 days, you have your brand, you can do whatever you want.
Almost an anniversary of your Redfearn the Live podcast. You spoke about the state of the German iGaming market. 1 year later, is there anything that surprised you about how things played out in 2025? Welcome to the Ace Alliance podcast. For the first time, we are at ICE Barcelona with our podcast box at the Alea booth. And today we're going to be talking about Germany and about iGaming. And who better to ask questions about this than Dimi from Zelda Consulting and Roger from Shufti. It's a pleasure to have you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the intro.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's like I just realized that we're actually in the same room and we're not online. So I was just preparing to let everyone talk and then to be prompted to speak. So it's great to be on side. You know, thanks again for the invite, and yeah, pleasure to be here.
So we're meeting here at ICE Barcelona, and I gotta ask, how has the event been for you so far? Busy?
On my side, it was really busy. So I had a lot of great talks, actually started in the very early morning at the hotel with the first people I meet, then coming over here. This is always to get, and it's hard to get a cab to get over here. So after normally a 20-minute ride is tended to 1 hour ride. But finally when you're here, it's really busy. But I think it's busy because it's raining outside, so everyone is going inside the halls. So that's my experience. Compared to last year, it's much more busier than last year. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been great. I mean, even no taxi problems because, I mean, if people see this, by the way, after it's been recorded, just a very, very good tip to everybody. Go to the taxi rank at Plaza Catalunya, and there is always a taxi. So just also some advice for you guys. So if you're staying in around Plaza Catalunya, only a 10-minute walk, like there's always a taxi there. And yeah, you never have to wait for too long. But yeah, to go back to your question, no, it's been great. I think it's the first time that my company is actually exhibiting here, and I think it's great to see that so many so many meetings have been arranged, and today, I mean, I've been on the booth since 10 a.m. and haven't stopped until I came here to the podcast recording, which is a great ending to day one, really. But it's been fantastic, and really looking forward to day 2 and day 3 as well.
That's really great to hear. And one tip for you guys from the organizer, they said that the metro is actually pretty nice here in Barcelona.
And it's also environmentally friendly, so guys, use the metro.
But then it's raining.
Now we are turning to Marco Polo tips, so you have to sell it.
I will sell it somehow, Dimitri.
Yeah, you're right.
And also, another thing, I have both of you here together, but you're also in the iGaming trend book by Ace Alliance, and actually you're on pages next to each other. What were your first impressions when you saw this publication?
First of all, I'm usually always anti-printing, because when people print nowadays, it's the cheapest option. It rips with the slightest touch of hands. But I then also like at the same time quality printing, which this definitely is. So just from the outside for everybody. Outside of that, what I really liked about the trend book is that you go in from different angles, that you just don't have, like, let's say 3 or 4 people just talk about everything, but that you really focus on experts, and get those experts' opinion on, whether that's compliance, sportsbook, casino, and everything. And I think that's really, refreshing to see so much effort being put in, because I think, in a day and age of AI and ChatGPT, it's also, very easy to just go and say, hey, can you write me a 120-page ebooks that I can, print out and give people? So, yeah, I think you guys definitely put a lot of effort in. I know how much this actually takes to plan and then execute. So, yeah, I think everybody should take a look at it, which I'm sure you can download as well online, which hopefully will be somewhere around here. You can click on there. I definitely recommend people who are also, suppliers like myself. I think you can learn quite a lot also from different angles, but also if you're in different parts, let's say you were a sportsbook specialist and you want to know a little bit more about casino or certain other things, it's definitely a good place to start. So, I can 100% recommend, and it's definitely high quality work.
I appreciate it, and we do take care of the print. Yeah.
And it's also a thing when you hold it in your hand. So, it's also, you have something, you have Ace Alliance in your hand. So, and you have 68 pages, something like that, with all experts in the gaming industry, even for takeaway. And you can have a directly look, and I like it that it's when I look into it, there's a small thing to start. Who is this person? Then what's their recommendation, or what's going on in this special sector? And then you got a special tip. I think that's really cool. So you can go through and say, oh, that's interesting. Who's that? Okay, just go through. It's easy to read, and you got a lot of news. And by the end, it's high quality. So the people, you put a lot of effort into it. And I think everyone is, we call it a little bit of proud, also be part of it. And starting with the very first trend book. Yeah, it's first.
It's actually the second edition, but this is the first one printed.
Yes, first one, high gloss printing, No, that's quality. I like it. I'm a bit 50 years old. I will not say old-fashioned, but still I love it to have something in my hand. I know a lot of companies, big companies, billion-euro companies, they also have the sportsbook trend book. There's a big brand from Germany, and it's lovely to have this sportsbook trend book as well. And I like this trend book as well for iGaming. So, hey, I was it. Well done. Perfect.
Really appreciate it.
And thank you so much that we are allowed to be part of it.
Yeah.
You're an expert.
Oh, it's not about allowing.
Listen, if you call myself expert and you count yourself out, you'll be the Kung Fu master of the game.
And we are both on one page, so
yes.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. Oh, sorry, I have to click this.
But also, what we were looking for is to have tangible insights from actual experts. So we have 95% of the people here are C-levels.
Yeah.
So this is really also high-level advice.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate your words, guys.
Yes, for sure.
Very nice.
And it's also nice to be with all the other experts in one thread book. So it's also making me feeling really good to be together with all the experts in the industry. So it's a perfect idea. I love it, and for sure to be on a book from Ace Alliance, I love it as well, and with Shufti, for sure, and with Roger. Yeah.
Amazing. And just last year, actually, it's almost an anniversary of your Ref Panda Live podcast with Faruk Aydin. And you spoke about the state of the German iGaming market. 1 year later, is there anything that surprised you about how things played out in 2025?
Shall I?
I think what I really liked is when I went to the Gaming in Germany event, which was early on this year. And what I really liked is that the regulator actively participated in the session, where there was operators, suppliers. They were, socializing with the people, not like because usually, honestly, and I can say this, right, because everybody knows, regulators come to these events, they do their 40-minute speech, and they're off back home. So, they don't take part in it. They don't really, like get into the life of those people, right, and understand, because, this industry is very, very, I think, special to a lot of people, right? I challenge everybody in the iGaming industry, like, try and explain this to your grandma or to your granddad what you're doing, right?
No.
It's and at the same time, I think it then takes a little bit of actually effort to understand what people are like, what their mindset is, what their mentality is, And it's not just about events, but I think it's definitely important for a regulator to show presence. Because in the end of the day, the regulator is there not to only protect the consumer and the player. The regulator is there to protect the companies, right? So, in the end of the day, it's great to see them, taking part, talking with people, trying to ask questions, like how could we improve this? How can we do that? And it's also, from that perspective, with also like with regulators, everybody complains, right? Everybody always has something which is negative, and I think we just also need to take the responsibility in ourselves as suppliers and operators, and just instead of just moaning, whinging, crying our eyes out, to actually put viable solutions on the table, because only then regulators can really think about it, and I know there's a lot of politics involved and all this stuff, which is, for some people it's fun, to most people it's BS, but, and I think, so this has been happening, which was great to see. I think otherwise it's also, good to see that, a lot of the operators are putting a lot of effort in protecting players, but also innovation, right? We see more and more games coming to the German market, which at the start was a huge problem, because you had to have them tested, you have to have all sorts of different things. So, I remember there was a time, I think, a couple of operators, they only had like 4 or 5 games, because those were the only ones that they had in their tech stack, and those were the only ones that they approved. But now, we're getting to a point where it's getting a lot better, and there's a lot of improvement. I think that, don't get me wrong, the tax numbers are still not great, right? The tax, or let's say, the wins from the tax have been falling ever since. And it's, again, when is it going to stop? When is it going to stabilize? But again, we're not here to speculate, but it's always good to see that steps are taken, that you see active steps. And like I said, like, I don't think the regulators understand, like, how much more encouragement it actually does by them participating and being there, because again, like, operators will then have a different view. As a suppliers, you have a different view, as people who want to take part, people who want to be there, people who actually want to make things better. And again, look, we get it. You have to get it approved, there is certain, it takes time, especially in a country like Germany, which is super intense when it comes to bureaucracy. But we need to be realistic, right? So nobody's asking for things to change from one day to another, but at least that we see the wheels turning. And I think we've definitely been seeing this in the last 6 to 8 months with operators taking the innovation part and making things happen. The regulator taking part in those industry events and wanting to listen to people and actively asking people to meet them and make it better. So, no, I think a lot of because in the last podcast I was very critical, but which you have to be at certain points. But I also want to be positive and obviously acknowledge things when they have been done. And from my point of view, I can definitely see that's been getting better in the last 6 to 8 months.
Last year, I always said, maybe the GGL should talk more, or should start talking to the industry, or should talk more to the industry. And last year, they invited operators, other companies, talking to them, getting the information. What can we do better? They start working together with the industrial leaders, especially in Germany. What can we do better about AML, KYC, also on operator side, on the gaming side? I think they really start now to speak, but when you're thinking the GGL, there are only a few people, so around about 20, 30 people. So they have to take care of games, of operators, black market, and they also have to get information about the industry. There are not a lot of people, but they really try hard. So I will not say it's surprising me, because I know for sure they have to do it and talk to the industry and also have a look at which kind of companies could help us, or which kind of service could help us to get the regulation on track. That's very important. So I will not say it's surprising. I will say they do the right thing. And I will think this year it's coming more and more up. They are listen and talk to the industry more and more, because they want to be secured and also sure that the regulated market could be, I will not say, when I'm saying it will be the best in Europe, then we are talking about what you mean with best. But it could be one of the most efficient, let's say it like that, the most efficient secured and regulated iGaming sector in Europe.
Yeah.
I think that's the right word.
Yeah. My mother used to say, imagine it's for your own good. Yeah.
Exactly. And the GGL is doing it's for all of you good. So we know there's a need to play, but we have to regulate it, and we want that it's safe for everyone. So doing AML, KYC and all that stuff, and also talking with the operators, you have to follow these rules. And I think then it will be like Christmas. No, I will like it, and I'm still in that the German market is a really good market. It's a necessary market in Europe, the number one market in Europe for me. Not about the GGR and revenues, but it's the number one market in case of, okay, here it starts regulating AML and all that stuff, and to do it in the right way, it takes time. I wish there would be more people at the GGL to go faster and stronger forward, because the companies are losing money if they have to wait to get the games approved and all that stuff. But by the end, I think they're doing it right.
Absolutely. And as we have just moved into 2026, are there any early signals that you're seeing that operators should pay attention to?
Sure, they should be aware, especially the operators which are not licensed, that there will be a lot of things coming up in 2026. So I'm happy that they will start now to try to block more and more black market operators. So that would say, be aware of this. And there's also some small changes we're coming here still talking. I wrote it down in the articles. The change from the minimum stake, €1, maybe to 3, maybe to €5, some other adjustments. They are trying out. That's why they are talking with the companies in the iGaming market. What can we do? Which is a necessary thing. What we have to do just to make the iGaming market or sports betting market still attractive, or maybe going to be attractive. You can see it like you want, and also be safe and secured for the people. That's my opinion.
I think
yeah, it's not easy.
no, I think one thing which obviously is like globally a phenomenon nowadays is prediction markets. But a lot of people are seeing obviously prediction markets and what they look like, and most of the times they're also in crypto, which is also like another thing for a lot of people. And I think, do I think there is a chance that it will ever be regulated? I don't, as it stands. But also we need to realize that, from that perspective, a lot of people actually, obviously read about it. I mean, everybody's on the internet nowadays and spreads so quickly. And then if you see that, the Americans are an example, like having prediction markets and betting, what color of underwear will the president have on this day, an example, right? Which is, which obviously, again, which questions the integrity of a lot of things, right? Because, if you see the like money spreads and you actually see where most of the money is going, right? So, because, like in most of the times you actually don't see with iGaming where the money is going and what the most, where the money is flowing, right? So obviously with prediction markets, you literally see it real time, which then also comes up with, and, there is a lot of, I wouldn't say heat, but there is a lot of like suspicion around the NFL specifically in the US at the moment, because, what's been happening in the last 1.5 years, you kind of like see which team have the public been betting on, and all of a sudden this team goes out because of certain referee decisions or something like that, and people start questioning it, like I've lost, I don't know, $50, $100, and seemingly so have 60% of the public. So what the hell is going on, right? So it's so with prediction markets, I think there's definitely going to be some conversations. There's definitely going to be something ongoing, and I think another which is kind of like innovation in the game space. And what I mean by that is, I genuinely struggled in the last 1.5 years to really find like a good game that's just let's go back maybe 20 years, right? If you look at the casino space, I think in Germany, literally 80% of casino goers played Book of Ra, right? Without plugging anything, but that's the truth, right? Book of Ra is a absolutely legendary game in Germany.
And there was not a lot of games.
Well, yeah, but it was something that was completely new with those free games and with how the game looked and the game mechanics. It was, it was simple but clean, and I always say that, right? But now you see games and there's like all this like 10,000 animations in 10 seconds. They
overcomplicate it.
Yeah, it's over like I always say, right? And this is let's compare it to pizza, very unconventional, right? But you go to a pizzeria and you ask for a margarita pizza. It sounds very simple, but it's actually the most difficult one to make because there is no flavor to let's say go over the cheese and the tomato and the dough. So there's just 3 things, right? So obviously when you have a salami pizza, it depends on the quality of the salami, right? But but again, simplicity, and when it's really good, will always win. And that's not just for games, right? That's also for platforms, for sports books, for casinos, for bingo, poker, right? Texas Hold'em will always be the biggest game, because no one has the nerve to play an example like Omaha or like Stud or something like that, just because it's a lot more complicated. You have to look a lot more things, and let's go back to the basics. Let's invent games that are clean, that are and again, each to their own, right? Like there's definitely people that love those games where like everything is bouncing and whatever, but but then I might then I might as well play pinball on Windows XP, like we used to have. But I think, and generally, I think this is also with the public. I think people feel a little bit like overwhelmed, right? People feel a little bit like there's too much of it. So, simplicity, things that, people just love, right? People love a cheeseburger because it's literally a burger with cheese, or people love a margarita pizza because it's just, tomato sauce and cheese, but really, really good. And I think, and I hope, I certainly hope, this is more of a hope and not what I can see, But I hope that game providers really go back to that really clean, nice games, good sound. By the way, can I just say how important sound is, right?
Exactly.
You'll probably agree.
Yeah,
I mean, sound is so important, right?
It's always it's giving you the rhythm. But now I'm getting hungry because I think by the end you said the Book of Ra is the best pizza margherita you can get in the world. Now I'm getting hungry. Maybe you get paid for it. So hey, guys.
Well, no.
Best margarita,
without plugging any operators or whatever, right? Because I have
But I know what you
there's
mean.
no connection there, right? But I mean, like generally speaking, it's such a clean and crisp game.
Yes,
and I keep going on about it. I mean, there's a lot more of a game like Lord of Ocean, an example. A lot of people play like Lord of Ocean, Book of Ra. You've got obviously like Fishing Frenzy, which again, Fishing Frenzy is actually a very old game, but now it's making a little bit of a remake because studios and stuff like start making remakes of it. But again, it's a very simple game. You know, also like there's another one, I think it's called Joker Cap, right? Which again, I mean, those games are very specific to Germany because people like them. But so yeah, without going on too much about it, but I certainly hope let's go back to crisp simplicity.
Let's go back to basics.
With a bit oregano on top of the sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm totally fine. Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
I wanted to pick your brains a little bit more when it comes to Germany and regulations, because that's what we all love. Where do you see Germany setting a benchmark that others might eventually follow, or do you think the market is so over-regulated that it's not a good one, a good example?
I will not set over-regulate. Maybe it could be in some percent, but I would say a year ago or 1.5 years, it's so heavily over-regulated, and there I would say it's not necessary. But nowadays, I would see you need those regulations, you need those AML, you need those KYC stuff, and I will not say over-regulated. It's a necessary tool, and it's necessary things you have to follow to open up a nice, regulated, and safe market. Because you see what's going on the black market and all that stuff. I don't want to say they're all bad or something. I'm focused more on regulated market. What can we do? And I would say Germany is still, for me, we are more than 80 million people living in Germany. We are one of the biggest. Okay, Europe, it's Europe and Asia. There's some countries there, half Asian, half Europe. But we are one of the biggest country in Europe and even in the world, the most powerful. So we have to be also number one in regulated things to show, hey, we are taking care of our players. We don't want to destroy the feeling to play, but we are also taking care that it's only a game. For sure, a lot of people are saying it's not only a game, but on the other side, it should be a game. If it's turning to it's not only a game, then it's getting serious. And hey, we are here, we are playing, and it should be fun. It should be something, getting thrills and everything. For me, it's a game, and it should be a game, and it should be safe to play the game. But it don't have to be too much pressure on the people that, the next turn. For me, it's a game, and I love it going around here and see how the people are playing the game. And that's for me very important. That Germany, they're taking care of it. They want to be number one in Europe about AM and KYC. I will not say for sure there's a threat that it could be over-regulated. But as I know that the GGL is asking more and more operators, game providers, they are talking with other European countries how we can build up something together. Because otherwise it's a mess for an operator or game provider. Okay, we're selling our games to Germany, to Sweden, to the Netherlands, and everything we have to adjust. Maybe there should be something. We are in Europe, and maybe we should have something. Okay, this is, I will call it the Europe trend book of safety gaming, or where the companies have to follow. So that's my wish, but I think it's getting more and more to this direction, and I really like it that they're safe, but I still want to open up the possibility to play the game.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Roger, would you say it's overregulated, or is it just fine?
Yeah, I'm fighting with myself. Yeah.
Be real.
No, I'm fighting with myself. No, look, I think again you have to be realistic, right? And I think this is the biggest thing which and a lot of people actually fail to do in their personal lives as well, to be realistic. But I think honestly it is very tough, right? Because at the same time you've obviously got responsibility for the biggest addressable market in Europe. You've got responsibility for the biggest economy in Europe. You've got the responsibility for vulnerable people. At the same time, you've got responsibility for the biggest entertainment market in Europe, which, people want to be entertained. And for some people, like myself, it's entertainment, right? Like I don't go to the casino with my friends because, I need to win some money to pay some bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, it's like, okay, I've now got like, I don't know, whatever the amount is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just play with it and I'm done, right? So I'm there to have fun with my friends. I'm there to have fun with my colleagues or whoever that might be, right? So to me, this is entertainment. So we can't forget that actually, I would say probably 90 or more than 90%, they use it as entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. So of course we should take care of that 10% or whatever it might be. But we cannot really kind of go into a space where we're actually pulling the rules for 90% because of 10%. That's not how democracy works either, right? I mean, in the end of the day, it's and you will see it, right? Because a lot more players will then go to places where they don't have to do, let's say, extensive KYC, where they are not restricted to depositing, small amounts, right? I mean, some people are wealthy, right? So if they want to play more, like to some people, 500 euros is nothing. It's like,
absolutely.
It's like, snapping with your fingers, right? So, and obviously by now with where we are in the world, I think there's quite a lot of those people that have a lot of money. So, we have to be careful. And I think this is one of the things which I certainly have been advocating for in the last like few years since we've regulated in 2020. It's let's see it as what it is, right? It's entertainment. Look, some people in the media will always find something bad, and that iGaming is the worst thing since happened. But my question would be, what about alcohol? What about addiction to shopping? What about drugs? What about there's so many things people get addicted to because something in their brain is not functioning like it should, or maybe it shouldn't. Maybe that's who they are, right? But then, yes, let's support those people. Let's make sure there is really support for it. But again, the technology to spot these patterns is there, right? So again, instead of let's say putting those by the way, I mean those restrictions were put in place to make sure that people don't lose the money that they don't have. But we now have the technology that we can provide to actually prevent these things anyway. So to an operator, right? Like, let's just say a person deposits 2,000 euros today. Within half an hour, 45 minutes, like, they spot it. So you see the play behavior. Next day, they do the same. Next day, they do the same. Well, I mean, obviously, so this would never happen is because as soon as that person deposits 2,000 euros and all of a sudden starts, and you've never seen that player before, all sorts of alarm bells will be going off and they will be asking that person or investigating who they are.
Hopefully he's not placing the 2,000 euros
well,
in Germany. Then we have another question.
No, exactly. No, but I mean, let's, to get back to my point, we have to see entertainment for what it is, right? And we also have to enable people to be able to be entertained, exactly. And to have a spin cooldown of what is it now? 5 seconds, 6 seconds?
5 seconds. Yeah.
I mean, to have a spin cooldown of 5 seconds. I mean, what sort of experience is that? I mean, you go to a casino, you press the button, it goes. You press the button, it goes. You press the button, it goes. Mm-hmm. Now online, you have to, like honestly speaking, I think it actually does the exact opposite to what it's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Because people get so frustrated that they keep just like, like pressing, and then they start increasing their stake.
Yeah.
Because that's what the money is like. Oh yeah,
And that's why they put the GGL the maximum stake of €1.
Yeah.
They can't do it. So, but
but again, I mean, what's the balance here? There isn't, like, right now we're here.
exactly.
And
Totally fine with it. Yeah.
And again,
absolutely.
look, don't get me wrong. I'm still saying let's protect the vulnerable people. Let's make sure they're looked after. But again, with technology, with everything that there is, with open banking, with whatever that is, you will definitely be able to spot somebody that has a problem, right?
Absolutely.
And no, I think we need to find that balance because, again, like Dimi said, the German market is such an important market, also like for the future and for regulation. I don't think that right now Germany is kind of like a country that a lot of people look at and want to copy it. Definitely not. I think the UKGC still has that, still has that prestige that everybody looks at what the UKGC does.
But maybe there's also learning for the German market when they look at the UK market, and maybe they can. But that's what I said before. Now they're asking operators, so GGL asking operators, asking game providers, asking other companies who are taking care of KYC, AML, and all that stuff, asking finances operators taking care of all the finance, all the money transfers and everything. I think, I'm not from the GGL, but I'm thinking now they're collecting all the necessary input they need to build out something useful. For sure, in the past, because they're all not from the gaming industry, they just said, okay, we have to do something like this. We have to protect. Okay, full force, 1,000% protective. And I said, oh, now you're
learning every day as well.
Yes. And so they have to learn. And now I think they're starting now in listening to the market.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, full force speed. Let's go a little bit down, make it smooth. And that's what I said. Most important market for me, I think, in Europe. Okay, let's put UK in. UK and Germany, it's most important markets for gaming, in sportsbook as well, and maybe Croatia when you're talking about sportsbook and all that stuff. But now they start to listen and give them also a bit of time to create the right stuff after the list.
Yeah, and also to the regulator, and I think this is a huge issue in the UK as well. I think the regulator is pricing out smaller competitors because it's commercially not viable to compete in that market.
Yeah.
But what do competitors do? They bring innovation, and that's what the good thing is, right? I mean, imagine a world where there wasn't competitors to certain car brands, right? Every car would look the same, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, we're doing such a great job." Yeah, because you're the only brand on the market, right? Smaller companies bring innovation to the market because they bring something and because they have to think outside the box to stand out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we cannot forget about this company. Like, we have to make it possible for companies to enter the market without having an investment of 50 million before even starting. I mean, Dimi, you've been involved in operations. I mean, it's so crazy to get a license and to get everything in place. I mean, you have to spend like so much money nowadays.
Exactly.
It's insane.
But
It's not only.
is the German market even still attractive to operators?
No.
Like, you say, do you
this
have to
one-
have a pile of cash, or is it for everybody?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, my opinion. Sorry, Dimi, but
No, it's good.
I think my opinion is at this moment in time, then it's very minimal attraction to the German market because there is a lot of brands that have a lot of no, I'm not going to say it, but there's a lot of companies that have a lot of influence, and they obviously want to keep their share of the market. Look, again, I get it, right? I mean, your company is used to having a lot of money, having a lot of people play your money. So of course you're going to protect it. And of course there's political means, there is commercial means, there is marketing means, whatever. But at this moment in time, I think it's incredibly hard for a startup to put something on the market. I mean, it's pretty much impossible, I would say, right now to, unless you have a very wealthy family.
But then it's also, I will call it's a have to get in market. Let's say it like that, because you have to go into the German market, as we talked before, because it's necessary to go in. But as long as it's so easy to get as an operator on the black market and offering the products, hey, then why should I, as a starter, 10 employees or 5 employees, as you said, first I need a 5 million euro certificate, a deposit. Then it takes half a year. After half a year, the company is already gone because they do not have the money to pay the employees. They have to make contracts with other companies to take care of AML, all that stuff. And that costs money. So, and then they have to wait to get a license. And then they have to wait another year or 2 years to get the games online. Hey, that's hard. And then also just thinking about, you're on the unregulated market, yeah? You're going to Germany on the black market. You can offer games with an RGP of 96. I will call it on this side. Don't get me wrong. That's a fair RTP for the player. But they can do it because they don't have to pay taxes and all that stuff. Nowadays, if you want to make a bit of money, I already heard that you have to offer games. No, hold on, maybe you need something to drink, with an RGP of 64. And then we are talking about what's fair for the player. If you are a player, do you play a game with an RGP of 96 or 64? For sure you're going for the 96. And then you are forced, the player, to go on the black market. Because the player said, hey, that's unfair that I'm playing a game with an RGP of 64. But on the other side, operators can say, we have to pay so much money to even survive on the market. We have to reduce it. So this is a thing where the GGL have to go into it and find a way to, on the one side, to protect the operators, which are paying a lot of money and everything on the license market, and also protecting them by invent new stuff and to get the operators on the black market out of it, because otherwise it's getting more and more and then it's getting, I would call it, more and more unfair for the players who said, okay, I play on the operator on the casino side of this license, operator and this license, but I know exactly it's a 50-50 maybe because the RDP is such low, and that's I think unfair.
And then also to what you said, it's the time leading up to it, right? I mean, you know, let's say, imagine you want to launch your own brand in Germany, right? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be 18 to 24 months before you even launch.
Yes.
So
minimum.
But like, imagine how much changes sometimes within a week or two. Yeah. Right. And now you're doing a business plan, which is based on today's economics, which is based on today's news, and then you're going to go live. And I mean, honestly, like, I mean, how can you predict in nowadays world, right? Where there is, you know, fighting going on for Greenland here. There is something going on there. And then you're supposed to, like, say, in 2 years I'm going to have a super successful brand, you know? I mean, and then with the black market, you can be live within 2 days. I mean, I'm not even joking, right? I mean, you just go, within 2 days, you have your brand. You can do whatever you want. You know, see you later. I mean, it's
exactly, and that's really unfair. Before, just have you ever tried to get a license? The first thing normally when operators come in and say, "Dimi, can you help us? We want to go to the German market." First, I would say, "That's the cake. Thank you and welcome." First, read the 800 pages for the certification. Fulfill all the things which are there.
Which you have to do in German language as well.
In German language. Yeah. So we are 2020. We are 2026 nowadays. Yeah. But you have to read it in German language for sure. They want to. It's the official language. We're in Germany.
But localization will always be important.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about Germany or Brazil or whatever.
Exactly. But on the other side, I'm always trying to understand the one side and also the other side. For sure, when they're putting everything out in English for Germany, for sure that it's nice, and normally it should be because we're one world, we're more and more international. But on the other side, you also open another door for those, maybe we misunderstood it. So to be very strict and be very fair, it must be in German for sure. On the other side, for sure, consultants or lawyers can come over, so we will help you. But then, as I said, 800 pages, They have to follow those 800, then a few million euros for deposits. Then I have to go and get a company taking care of AML, KYC. Maybe I need some right lenders to take care of my brand. Maybe I get affiliate. Yes, I have to make the contracts now. And then I have to wait half a year, but I already have to pay. So when you're asking me, do you think it's only for good, for bigger companies or for smaller companies? I would say normally it's for everyone. But if you're a small company with 200-300 millions in the pocket, hey, you can go there. It's still
but is that a small company? It's not.
And it depends on if you said small with a lot of employees or a lot of money. By the end, I would say, it's my opinion, you can go to the German market, but it depends on the money you have, because you need a long, hopefully it's the right English, the right English pronouncement. You need a long breath till you can make your first euro of GGR. And then you can choose. Big company, small company. If you have a lot of money, you can start, because it depends from half a year up to 2 years till you get your first euro of GGR. Hopefully I'm right when I'm saying this. Hopefully Roger was at.
I mean, one thing I'll definitely say is that Dimi definitely had a present for Christmas. He got a politics, how to talk in politics talk.
Yes, you love to talk. Yeah, because I like to talk about it, because when we are talking about it, then a lot of people are aware about it. And that's important. We have to talk, and only when we talk about it, we can change something. I think it's the wrong thing. That's why I love the podcast and everything. It's the wrong thing when we're staying around the corner saying, oh, it's a pity. Oh, you can't go to Germany. When you talk about it, then everyone got aware about it and thinking, okay, we have to change something. And we have to do something. And that's why it's such important. At the moment, it's you want to go into the market? You need money. And you need a lot of money, because you never know when you get a certification. Sorry, and I'm talking so much, but I'm saying
but honestly, stop moaning and just get on with things and innovate and make things better. Because I mean, if we're all gonna moan, we're not gonna move anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple.
Look out. That's the best thing. Look out here. There's a lot of company out there. They have really, really good and perfect services. There are a lot of iGaming companies out there who want to get on the regulated market, but I said, we are waiting now for years to get our games approved. Yeah. And what can we do? And there's really big company, more than 1,000 employees. They are waiting there. We want to go there. And other companies with the black market, we want to go on the regulated market, because there is the future. And normally should go into that. Kissing the hand is a yes, we will help you, because that's the future. So that's very, very important.
I mean, as a regulator as well, I mean, it only has positive, positive repercussions, because it's going to bring more people in, and people are, and also like people are going to enjoy themselves more, don't feel the frustration. Exactly. And then we go back to what we talked about at the start, it's just, again, enabling people rather than making their lives harder than it should be,
Roger, I'd love to talk a little bit about your company, because you mentioned that it's the first year that you are exhibiting, and you have a couple of solutions that are pretty interesting. So you've been expanding its verification and fraud prevention portfolio. Which of these solutions are you currently seeing have the strongest demand from iGaming operators?
I think it's not so much each of the modules themselves. I think what people are after now is something that brings everything together under one umbrella, under one integration, under one data collection part. So, and I think again, there is no silver bullet against bonus abuse. There is no silver bullet against fraud. There is no silver bullet against people having fake IDs, but what you have to do is you have to layer your approach. Like, think of an onion, right? So, the outer layer is when somebody provides a document, right? The next layer is someone provides their face or scans their face. The next layer is we look at where the phone is. The next layer is, how does the phone behave? The next layer is, and so on and so on. We can go on and go on, but But this is our approach, you know. We're looking at it from a perspective that actually makes it feasible and actually, you know, gives the operators a chance to fight that fraud, you know, and that's all you have to give them. I mean, again, you know, the beauty of it is AI is never going to take over fully on these things because you still have to have some sort of human, you know, thinking and human emotional intelligence behind it, right? But I think what is really, really important nowadays is that you put all of the data points together that you get from that person. And let's be honest, nowadays you get so much data out of one click. It's unbelievable. So yeah, think of it as an onion. And this is what we do, right? We provide those different layers in order to get to well, in German is a saying, zum Kern der Sache, which obviously would be the case in onion as well, which is, you know, essentially like the center of the onion. And, you know, make sure that you provide them everything available. And then they can, let's say, either trust our decisioning, they can override that decisioning by their means. And at the same time, they can also input their own rules into our system, right? So the system, again, what I can just say to all suppliers is, don't sell something, and again, this is advice for free, guys. So, you know, don't sell something that's the same for everybody because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, we have a logo here, Alea behind us, right? There is some other companies there. What works for Alea is definitely not going to work for that company over there or that company over there, you know? So you always have to work with those teams and you have to explain it to them. You have to educate them. And that's on us. We have to educate them. Look, other people are doing it this way and this is what they're getting it from. So we provide you the data, you make your decisions. And at the end of the day, you know, we strive to improve. We strive to let's say, you know, give the operators a fighting chance against fraud, which is seemingly happening every millisecond nowadays, you know.
I like that when you're saying that it's like an onion, layer by layer. Maybe you can say Shufti is doing something, offering the onion layer by layer without start crying. You know,
that's good.
We are doing it smooth.
Maybe
we are the only.
maybe I should start asking for a raise and get a marketing.
Exactly. We are the onion layer per layer without losing any tears.
No. I mean, you're definitely not losing tears, and you are saving on sweat, right? So that's for sure. You know, like it's a crying sweat-free onion that we provide.
Yeah. And then machine learning and behavioral
Yeah.
analytics are also becoming pretty central to fraud detection. How are these technologies changing the way that operators manage risk in a market like Germany, let's say?
Oh, it's huge. It's not just huge for onboarding or verifying a player. It's huge for responsible gambling, and this is what I said before, right? I mean, it's huge for responsible gambling because you really can see behavioral patterns, and there is some really cool companies who also have or are specialized in this software, like Mindway AI. And it's been actually built by people who studied, you know, psychology and who studied, you know, brains of people and brain activity. And through those patterns, they can predict even before it happens, this player is going to do harmful gaming, right? So you see that, again, like to come back to the point before, the technology is there. So, you know, machine learning, it learns from the billions of interaction every second that happen on your platform, and then builds patterns. And obviously you then have software who recognizes that and gives you real results, right? So again, we're the onion layer here. So we would, you know, bring a third party in that specializes exactly in that part, because again, you know, I mean, I would love to have a solution for everything, but the truth is there is some really cool companies that are preferred and want to be used by some of the operators. So we will do exactly that. Look, I don't have a stake in that, you know, but I want to provide them with a solution that they're confident in, that is gonna do good for them. I want to provide them a solution that they are confident with personally. And third of all, I want to provide them a solution which is commercially viable, because what we just said, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, behavioral biometrics and machine learning is crucial super important, and you can't remove it anymore from the operators, because otherwise you can't build an operation at scale. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And also, again, it prevents your business from getting fined and being compliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Germany is probably one of the few iGaming markets where PayPal is still a thing. Do you see the payment methods developing here somehow? Maybe moving away from PayPal to something new?
Yeah, no, we just had the chat, before, and it's like, the German mentality, right? And again, I'm a German, Dimi's a German, so we are free to let it rip. But honestly, like Germans, like once they like something, they expect it to be available for the next 80 years, and they don't want to do anything different because it works just fine. Which again is a mentality. Sometimes it can be good.
Yeah, exactly.
But also sometimes not. Yeah. Because again, there's a lot of cool payment methods. I think the payment method which in the long term will definitely be the payment method is open banking, because it's so easy. It's 2 clicks. You get the money instantly. You don't have to wait for it.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, PayPal, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
No.
They should try Bleak. This Polish payment method.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, no, and you also have in Brazil.
Exactly. Look at Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
99% is also going with their payment. So that's cool for it. When you're asking me the question, what do you think about PayPal is going away? Then I would go on the opposite side and say, do you think Sweden will change their official payment method, which 99% is using? Poland will switch? I think no. Maybe there will come some more newer on the market, but I think PayPal, when we're talking about PayPal for sure, I know a lot of people there, a lot of people there, it's a reliable and payment method, and a lot of people are using, nearly everyone is using it.
And it also signals the regulated market, because PayPal does not work with the black market, right?
Exactly.
So,
and that's good.
Yeah.
For sure, it's not the most cheapest thing. But on the other side, I will say, it's like when you're buying a car. Now it's getting hard. It's also shown the podcast in Italy or somewhere else. Why you're buying a Mercedes and not a Fiat? They will bring you all from A to B. First, I was said as a German, maybe the Mercedes will bring you every time from A to B. But why you're buying a Mercedes and not a Fiat? Because it's reliable. You get something. You get a feeling with this car. That's why you're buying. And something like when you have, when you're operating in Germany and you have to offer PayPal. It's for a lot of people the feeling of, it's secured because PayPal is in. So I will play there because it's secure. Yeah. Everything. When you're buying online clothes or something in Germany, it's PayPal. Oh, cool. For sure you can use MasterCard and all the things, but then they're coming over and said, I don't want to show my MasterCard details online. I go for PayPal. Now we can stay laughing and for sure. Right. But it's the feeling of most of the people. They say, okay, I'm trusting this brand. It's with everything. You like a Tempo or... Yeah. Tempo is a Tempo, but normally it's not a Tempo. You like a Coke? Yeah. I love Coke. I work with them so many, but normally it's a cola, but they always call the brand, and it's like with PayPal. Are you paying? Yes, sure, PayPal. PayPal is a synonym for paying, something like. Yeah. Sorry when I'm.
No. I was just gonna say I'll definitely recommend Audi over Mercedes. That's for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Gentlemen, it breaks my heart to say that.
We can do it without you. So we still have battery on the camera?
No, it's the memory cards. That's the problem.
It's a memory card.
Yeah. It's really tiny.
Yeah. Because otherwise, like in Spain, they also live in a different time. So the memory cards only go up to like certain gigabytes.
Well,
it's going directly
time
on
to wrap up. So.
Oh, what a shame.
Why?
It's okay. One more question.
Yep.
Okay, one more.
So
if you were consulting a new operator that wants to enter the German market tomorrow, what's the checklist? Like practical, non-negotiable items?
Normally it's a serious
max.
Podcast, yeah?
Yes.
But a nice question. Entering the German market in iGaming. tomorrow.
Yes.
You're gonna.
It's
you're definitely gonna.
There is no you can't
all I
under
can
a German
recommend
market
is
by
I
one
can
day.
is start playing Euro Millions. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I can recommend.
That's normally you can't do it in one. Normally we have to say, what's my recommendation to start in the next half year up to a year? Then I would say, okay, you need going through the checklist, reading all those 800 pages, them, going for this. The important thing is you can't start in Germany by tomorrow because there's still the one thing you never know, even when you read everything, even when you apply for everything, and maybe you did it right, it will take time, and you never know if it takes 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, half a year, or of a year. And this is the most hardest thing when a company is coming over. Dimi, can you help us? What do you think when we will get the certification? We put everything in, you checked everything, and then normally I would say, hey, we're in the gaming industry, let's roll the dice, and then you will see when we get the certification. Unfortunately, it's like that.
No. I was actually thinking as you were talking recommendation. Buy a license. You know, like if you're really serious about entering the German market, if you have a really cool idea, you know, go and acquire somebody with a license, which I think there's actually quite a few M&A candidates, to be honest, on the German market.
If I'm looking at a white list there, you see why they have 5 or 6 licenses.
Well, there you go, you know, so it's definitely, you know, acquire license, you know, get a good consultant that has a good view of the German market. So I'll definitely recommend any consultant you want. Then you have to get a superstar in compliance. You have to get a superstar in commercial. You have to get a really cool product manager that understands the fluctuations and the changes. Somebody that's good in casino, somebody that's good in sportsbook.
Yeah.
And there's your 7-man team that you need, you know, because again, it's about the people that you work with, and it's not the numbers, because you know, we all know how it works. But yeah, that'll definitely be my recommendation. Buy a license, because it's going to take you too long to get if you're really serious. And I'm sure there is certain companies that would be interested in.
Yeah, and that's very. I think that's the most important thing. If you want to go on the German market, don't think, and if you've never been on the German market, ask someone. I would just say ask someone who knows how it's going on the market.
Yeah.
Because that will saving you a lot of money and a lot of time. That's the most important thing. And by the end, maybe read the trend book from Ace Alliance.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or maybe ask them if they know some experts, and just get the information from the experts, and then try to maybe waste money or waste time, but go for ask experts and then go into the market. I think that's a fair.
That's a very fair assessment. Yes.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Thank you. This is a great summary. So, gentlemen, I am so happy that I could hear your insights. It's been a delight listening to you fight here. Almost.
It's a pity for me that there's only why there's no 20 terabyte cards. So
such a shame.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Yeah. I wanted to do it until tomorrow morning. Really.
Yeah, I'm already in. But on the other side, I'm hungry because I want to have a pizza margarita.
And the
best
cheeseburger.
Pizza and the cheeseburger.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the end, we also have to say thank you to Alea that they make it happen.
Yeah,
that we're here.
Thank you to Magda. Thank you to Farouk. Thank you
to
Panda.
And thank you for Alea, because now we are going, and then we will close this. We are going now to the bar at Alea, get some oxygen.
Yes, you should.
Refreshing, and then have a drink together. And they're also offering alcohol-free beer. Because, hey, we have to work. Yeah. Serious?
So,
be serious.
Apart from the oxygen bar here,
how
can our listeners reach out to you?
To me, normally they can reach out if they have the trial book from Ace Alliance or going online on Ace Alliance. Maybe they can ask Roger On the other side, they can go on my homepage, zelda-consulting.de or .com. Just going to one of those conferences across the world. I'm normally in every conference across the world. Every second or third week, I'm in another conference. But Zelda Consulting, Zelda, you know the game, playing the game, Zelda Consulting. Just get it in one of the browsers you enjoy most, and then just send me a message.
Amazing. Roger.
LinkedIn or roger@shufti.com. And always happy to talk and and get some people more interested in more in compliance. Yeah.
Amazing. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great conversation, and I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please follow us on social media to stay tuned for more Ace Alliance podcasts. So see you next time.